Hello YouTube, Super V Power here, back again with another retro camera review. And this time, we're going to be having a look at the Kodak DC25 digital camera, which was the first consumer camera to use compact flash cards. It was released in 1996 for an asking price of $595, which is just about $972 in today's money. This is the year 2020. It has a 493 by 373 sensor, which is just about 0.27 megapixels, and it's a 1/3 inch CCD sensor. The lens is fixed focus, so there's no autofocus here, and it's about 6.5 millimeters, which is about a 46 millimeter full frame equivalent. You've also got an optical viewfinder and a flash on the front, which has this little tactile bump, so that you don't accidentally cover it with your index finger when you're shooting. On the left side, you have a serial port, which looks like a headphone jack, but in the original box it would have had a converter to convert that over to a standard 9-pin serial connection. You've also got DC 7 to 8 volts in, center pin positive barrel plug, and that about rounds it out on that side. On the right side, you've got the compact flash card slot. Now, if you forget your compact flash card, it's also got 2 megabytes of onboard memory, which doesn't sound like a lot, but you can store quite a decent number of pictures in there, given the very small file size. Now, in order to get this actually out, there's an eject switch on the bottom, so you just pop it out like that. Right now, I've got a 16 megabyte card in there, which is pretty decent for this camera. See that 16 meg? I actually got this from another camera that was sort of discarded. This was just in the box with it. So I was like, oh, that could come in handy someday. That day has come. You've also got the battery door on the bottom, which this takes 2 lithium CR123 cells, which were pretty common in film cameras at the time. You've got the brightness knob for the display, which is right here, and the 1/4-20 tripod mount, which is pretty handy, especially coupled with that self-timer. Also on the back of the camera, we've got scroll, enter, display, up and down, and you've also got power, busy, and memory, as well as that optical viewfinder. Let's have a look through the viewfinder. You'll see that it's got parallax compensation framing lines. So that means if your subject is really close and the difference between the position of the lens and the position of the viewfinder is actually significant, then you can use the alternate lines to frame your subject. If you can see, there's 2 sets of lines on the left side there. Okay, so how do we use this camera? First off, turn on the power, you'll hear it click, and you'll notice that you don't see anything whatsoever. That's because this camera doesn't have live view. That only came a little bit later. Even the fact that it had an LCD at all was an improvement over its predecessor, the DC20. So you're going to be shooting through this most of the time, the viewfinder, just like an old school film camera. And overall, the thing does look like an old school film camera, except for, of course, this tiny little lens. But if you want to review your pictures, just hit the display button, and you'll see a busy light, or signal, and then you'll be able to see all the pictures that you've taken. Of course, scrolling through them is quite slow, and these buttons aren't exactly the most sensitive things in the world, so you're going to really have to jam them down. I'm sure that these were better when they were new, but of course this is 24 years old. So, here you go. That's how you get pictures. Now, in order to delete one, all you have to do is hit the erase button, and you have the choice of erasing picture, erasing the camera, so the built-in memory, or just erasing the entire card. So if I hit erase picture and hit enter, that will erase the picture. That's it. There's no confirmation, nothing like that. So you better be sure that you want to erase that picture. Okay, so let's go back to shooting. How does this camera actually operate? So you just look through the thing, this viewfinder, and you just press down the shutter button. You'll hear a click and see the busy light. It's gone. Now to view the picture that we just took, which is going to be of my hoodie, you can see what a beautiful picture that is. Okay, let's go back and take another photo. So as you can tell, it's not exactly the most responsive thing in the world, and of course the display is not exactly HD, but you get the picture. So shut off the camera, and then you can just eject the card, since we don't have the included cable. And now we're ready to read the pictures on the computer and see what we got. But there's a little catch, and I'll show you that in just a minute. So now that you've taken pictures with your Kodak DC25 digital camera, how do you get the pictures off? Of course, you got to connect the memory card to your computer somehow. I just have a generic 1001 memory card reader. But you'll see a folder called DC25 IMG. Open that, and you'll find all the pictures. However, these are in a proprietary K25 Kodak compressed format that they only used on this camera. Luckily, somebody created DC25 conversion software that's better than the one that originally came in the box, which you had to drag to one by one. This is a batch conversion tool, and I'll link to it in the video description. But when we open that up, what we'll find is a very simple utility. So first, you just set your source path, and it automatically chooses E, so I'll just leave that as is. And then our destination directory, I'll just set that as pictures, and I'll just put in the new folder here. And then set the slider all the way up, hit OK, and you'll see your pictures populate. Alrighty, so I hope you enjoyed that look at the Kodak DC25 digital camera from 1996. I'll leave you with some pictures that I've taken with this camera over the past 1.5 years that I've had it, although most of them are from just a couple days ago. Just a quick walk around the block. And as you can see, it's not exactly the best thing to take pictures of your priceless family vacation, but for just a little hit of nostalgia, it's certainly a lot cheaper than taking pictures with film. And even though the quality isn't nearly as good as film, it's got a different kind of a charm, and that's what attracts me to these old digital cameras. They somehow remind me of taking pictures with an old camcorder. You know, picture mode in a camcorder typically turns out pretty substandard pictures, but they have their own look, and I think that's the look that this camera has. And I enjoy using it, even if it's not exactly the pinnacle of digital image quality. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time. Till then.